Did Ashley just drop off? He's on? Okay. If you would promote him, please. Perfect. Oh, there he is. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hello, everybody. It is the our annual meeting, and we're very excited that everyone's here tonight, at least people remotely as well. So Michael is not here, so I'll be, I believe, in a few minutes promoted as temporary chair to run this meeting tonight. And let me read, Tracy will be here also, but I'll read her sunshine compliance statement, which is our traditional first step. Notice of the time, date, location, and agenda of this meeting, to the extent known, was provided at least 48 hours prior to the commencement of this meeting in the following manner pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice was posted in Town Hall and the Township's website by notification to newspapers on December 22nd, 2021 of the schedule for 2022, and by providing notice to the Township Clerk. All members of the corporation district were provided notice of this meeting via email and or physical delivery according to section 3.03 of our bylaws and via social media. So let's please all stand to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
We'll
come back. Roll call.
Yeah, roll call. So I will do this. Do this in my head. Stephen Weiner.
Here.
Richard Wasserman. Here. Ashley Schultz.
Here.
That was Andrew Morgan, not present. Jemana Culligan, not present. Michael Parlavecchio, not present. Jesse Moman. Here. That should complete it.
Okay, thank you. I'll just remind everybody and read the SID mission statement. Oh, Jackie.
Oh, and Jackie Benjamin.
There we go. SID mission statement. So the purpose of the Special Improvement District is to promote, grow, and support local businesses, property owners, residents, and visitors. Millburn Township's SID ordinance designates a new, we could probably delete new, we're around, District Management Corporation, whose mission is to encourage the economic, cultural, and social vitality of Millburn Township through increased marketing and visibility, improved and renewed infrastructure, and local business development and engagement. So that brings us to the approval of the minutes. We'll table that until Tracy arrives. And we can move right into the public comment period. When invited to speak, come to the lectern, clearly state your name and address and speak into the podium microphone so that your comments can be understood by all and properly recorded. Whenever an audience or committee member reads from a prepared statement, please provide a copy to Tracy at exploremillburnshorthills.org. Speakers are asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes. Those who wish to participate in the meetings may do so in person with possible occupancy limitations, or electronically by phone or computer via Zoom. Looks like we have one person, which is great. Individuals calling in will be able to fully participate in the meeting during the appropriate public comment periods. So we could start with those in the room. If anyone would like to speak. And whoever would like to take the lectern.
Good evening. Do we have a quorum tonight? As of now, can we be continuing with this meeting? Mr. Cooper?
We can
Excuse
convene the
me?
meeting.
I'm asking Mr. Cooper.
Well, I'm
Do you
answering the
have-
question.
Oh, thank
We
you.
can convene the meeting. We're just not taking any votes until we have a quorum. You have 3 minutes. Your time is running.
I think we have to have a quorum. I mean, this is inappropriate. Jackie, you were mayor. Mr. Wasserman,
Your time is running. Your
Cooper?
3 minutes are being,
do you have a quorum, Mr. Cooper?
you
Hi.
direct all questions to me.
Ask
your 3
town-
minutes is
ask your
running.
Board attorney. This is crazy. Okay, Mr. Weiner, to my understanding, you have concerns as to why I'm always screaming here all the time. because I've been vilified, retaliated, and traumatized. And am I not entitled as a taxpayer, property owner, and merchant not to have my questions and others' questions answered? Why this board, under the direction of this attorney, refuses to answer our questions? Is that how Mr. Karlovic would advise Bloomfield Town Council and Essex County Commissioners? What is the proper procedural protocol for SID board trustees and board attorney reports? Why is the public not afforded the opportunity to respond to all reports? I'd ask if you all shut your mics off, because when you can't hear it when you're online, just letting you know from previous meetings. Mr. Grillo's contract has awarded him a raise. When questioned by Tracy Levine, he stated that that increase would be coming from advertising. That's job security. So using Ms. Lieberberg's words, it's important to have a vehicle in place. Would the board members who are merchants agree that advertising would be a key component to any business? Why isn't Tara screaming here tonight? And what would you be saying, Vicki? And I would say it again. How many businesses are not paying their rent on time, and how many merchants are not even taking a paycheck? As a merchant, I will state that every industry are facing very trying times. Today, post-COVID is something I've never seen in 29 years of business. We're all dealing with extreme food costs, supply chain, and labor demands. I've asked multiple times about Wonder Truck. Wonder Truck, does this vendor violate the township's administrative code? Is Mr. Grillo aware of other food establishments' concerns within the 5 districts? I understand that Wonder Truck is a sponsor to this entity, or is that just a gate, to open the gate to get him into the town? Under what authority and agreement with which you are monitoring and administrating the ART grant from the state of the last 2 township committee bills, the bill list, I asked, don't take this to offense, but I need to know, and maybe you can answer, why Black River Design is also receiving payments from the township? Kindly explain. I've asked several times.
If you could
Mr.
please wrap
Wasserman,
up, please.
I understand, but this is an annual meeting, Mr. Weiner,
And
so
you have 3 minutes to
I
speak, and you've
understand.
you've used your time up, so you could please just wrap up.
under that authority, I have the pleasure to attend both South Mountain and Short Hills Association Township Committee forums within the past week. I found it quite interesting that the candidate for the independent party, David Morrow, a commercial property professional, stated the following: Special Improvement District is not utilized to its full capacity. Mr. Morrow also stated that the annual vacancy rates is not determined by a true or correct metric. He continued to state that the Main Street closure needs to explore
Ms. Urso, if you
further
could please wrap
options.
up.
It's concerning considering you're 2 years into this entity.
Please take a few more
I
seconds
will,
and wrap it
thank you
up.
so much. Is he right? Is the executive
Thank you, Ms.
director who
Urso.
claims to
Your
have the
time's
best
up.
job ever
Your
holding
time's
an
up, Ms.
unaccountable
Urso.
position?
Thank you.
My name is Jeffrey Feld, 11 Alexander Lane, Short Hills, New Jersey. Rod, we have history here. We should start with the context. We should circle back to the last township committee meeting, where we were told that citizens should have not a right to talk about whether we need a charter commission. We were told that is what proud Democrats believe in, that there's no free speech in this town. Also, we first ask you to watch Tuesday nights Short Hills Civic Association debate, and you listen to the comments made by all candidates regarding downtown revitalization of the city. You determine and evaluate what they said. Also evaluate what most of the candidates are saying about whether we need to replace our municipal attorney. I'd like to give you a Bear Properties update, litigation update. We're still fighting over the form of the non-disclosure statement, and we're waiting for the court to set up a hearing date that will be public for the public to know about the terms, because the city has admitted, the town has admitted that they forget what the case is about, the prerogative rate action. Public notice appeared in the New Jersey law about mediations and arbitrations, about when certain submissions should be made prior to the mediation or arbitration. We've all been receiving the, I've been supplying the pleadings going on. read when the town supplied their mediation submission and compare it to mine. As to tonight, there's going to be a retention of counsel. This is an odd organization. You get money from the town and you get money from a special assessment. How did you solicit who your attorneys was? Was an RFQ done or an RFP? Look at the form of agreement. Mr. Wasserman, about 2 meetings ago, the township approved the retention of special recall petition counsel. Have you compared that agreement to the agreement that you're going to ask to be approved tonight? Did you compare the RFP that you received to get that counsel to the council? Whether, again, the process that Mr. hopefully Executive Director will discuss how you solicited offers. Compare that. I think we need to revisit the bylaws and the format, because the way it's structured, this is decisions that were made before Steve and before and over here about the format. Reports, we give public comment before reports and compare the township committees, agenda, format, and various other ones. Reports come before citizens' comments, so we have an ability to make comments based on some of the reports that are given tonight. We don't have that ability. We have to wait till the next meeting to comment about something that's going to happen tonight. I just say for you to consider that. As to the budget process, we're going to begin it, but can you at least tell us what you think the timeline will be? Because we're going to have a November, we only have one November TC meeting, so I think the public needs to know.
I'll address it specifically.
All right, I'm just raising that because I don't know, because I had to have it at that time. And again, the adequate notice, I'm glad you said the process. Also look at the Wonder Truck issue.
Thank you,
The
Mr.
issue,
Hall.
1 second, to focus on the township's administrative code, because the township has never answered. There is a prohibition, what we'll call the good humor prohibition, truck prohibition, and why that is different here and the impact on restaurants in the city.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the room?
You're getting minutes now.
I am.
358, Vicky Powell, 358C Millburn Avenue. I just want to say, looked at the agenda tonight, very happy to see the mural potential that we're going to be doing. I think that's really great, especially with all this open, empty space. It's just another add-on to the town. I also, I'm happy that we're getting events. We're gonna have a nice conversation. So going forward, we're gonna have 2 signature events. I hope that's gonna be good. But I am a little disappointed that we're not having trick or treat Halloween. It's an easy, it was, you know, it brings everyone into town. It's really nice to see everyone hustling, bustling to the stores. I did have a couple people that asked me, are you doing trick or treat this year in town? And I had to tell them no. So I think we really need to revisit that. It really is no cost to the organization. All they have to do is, advertise it and, you know, a couple Facebook ads and tell everyone else to advertise it. I think we missed the boat on that because other towns are doing it. And it's sad that we didn't even get a chance to ask or vote on whether or not we should do the trick or treat. Other than that, everything else is good. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the room? Okay, how about online? Anyone would like to speak? Is that Ms. Pasternak?
Good evening. Yes, hi there.
Hi.
Jean, back 342 Hobart. Thank you for the opportunity to have a comment. I also wanted to bring to your attention as a resident and also obviously a user of the businesses downtown and around town, that there were some really interesting ideas and comments made by the 4 candidates that participated in the Tuesday night debate when the SID was brought up as a question. I hope everybody will listen because I think you can learn some things. These people have been going around town, talking to a lot of residents and some businesses. And I think they had some really important thoughts about the SID, about revitalization, not just downtown, but around town. I would encourage you to listen to that debate in particular. They did talk about, I think somebody already mentioned about vacancy, how to use the proper metrics, and also the cost benefit analysis on the closure as well as the whole SID itself. And I think that there's some really good minds that have some good ideas, and I hope you'll tune in. There's also, there was a question that was raised somewhere in there about whether all the properties that are located within the SID are actually paying the assessment. And are all of them receiving benefits proportionally? So I think that that's a valid question. I know it's come up in other meetings, and I think that's something that needs to be zoned in on, and people have to be assured that everybody's being treated fairly. The other thing that is the Main Street closure. I think a lot of residents have found that Main Street to be closed during the times that it has beneficial, but many have also found it detrimental. So someone came up with the idea of doing a survey of the community to see what people think, when it works, when it doesn't work, so that we can all benefit.
Public comment.
Am I done? Sorry.
No, you have time.
Oh, okay. I heard someone talking. Sorry about that. The other thing that's notable, I think, is that there's sort of a groundswell, it seems, from residents about this notion that we should be looking at through a charter commission the way in which we are structured as a local governing body, the township committee, and whether there should be an alternative way to structure Millburn. And I think it was really people were very disappointed to learn that the majority, 3, I guess, out of the 5 of our township committee members did not want to go forward with setting up a charter commission to explore that. So I think that's another area of discontent amongst our residents, that they would like to look at ways to improve how we govern. And there are a lot of people that are not happy in the way things are
Ms.
going.
Pasternak, if you, excuse
I'm
me,
done.
keep going on. No, keep going. You have time. I'm sorry.
Stealing my time. Come on. I was going to compliment you.
I heard one beep. You can continue. I'm sorry.
Okay. We actually had a really good exchange when we were out on behalf of 2 of the candidates at the town dump. And I have to say, Stephen, that I felt like we were actually talking, this group of us as neighbors. We actually could talk without any preconceived notions. We were just talking about things. And I hope that we can come to a place where that can happen, that people who are really dissatisfied have a chance to just have a human to human contact like we did. And I hope you'll follow through with what you had suggested that day. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. I think it's the town recycling center, though, not the dump, right? I've been corrected.
Ask the recycling
Yes, it is the
coordinator.
recycling. Yes, but thank you. Anyone else online would like to speak? No. Okay. Therefore, the public comment period is now closed. And I think we're going to circle back now to,
Do you want me to discuss anything?
I was thinking the budget timeline question came up that I think you're going to cover.
Yep.
It's on the agenda.
If I, and I apologize for
Sure.
interrupting, now that we have a quorum, so I'd like to note that for the record. And if, at the chair's prerogative, approval of minutes.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, thank you. We're going to circle back. Let's go up to the item approval of minutes. And Tracy's now here.
Sorry for my slight delay. Yep, so we attached the minutes from September 13th meeting. Did anyone have any questions on that?
Any questions?
Okay, so just a voice vote, guess all were,
No.
or what do we need?
Roll call.
A roll call vote? Okay. Okay, let me go in. I'm trying to see who's here and try to go in my order here. Okay, Tracy Katz Levine, yes. Michael is not here. Ashley Schultz,
Yes.
Stephen Weiner,
Yes.
and
Richard.
Richard. Oh, I'm trying to just see who was here at the
Andrew.
last meeting. Oh,
Andrew wasn't at
was
the last. meeting,
Andrew was not at the last
So
meeting.
he'll be in no vote.
Okay, so Richard
Yes.
Wasserman, yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Very good. Thank you.
thanks.
Oh, and then we just need a voice vote to nominate Stephen as the chair. Someone like to make a motion?
Can I make a motion to have Stephen serve as the chair this evening?
Second,
Voice vote's okay, Ryan? All in favor?
I,
Anyone
Nice.
opposed? Okay. Yeah, Thank,
It needed to be said, somebody did.
okay, thank you. All right, very good. So that moves us right to the Township Committee report. Mr. Wasserman.
Oh,
Can I make one question, comment on
Oh,
Wonder?
sure.
Yeah.
Yep, of course.
So it was brought up a couple of times concerning the Wonder truck. And so I want to just differentiate between the town's interactions with Wonder and the CID. So I know the town has its own rules and regulations that Mr. Feld alluded to. That is not under the CID's jurisdiction. The CID is not a regulatory body. The agreement that we have in terms of sponsorship with Wonder is actually through their Envoy program, which is their delivery service. I believe about 15 businesses in the town use them, just like an Uber Eats or a Grubhub. So the agreement that we have with Wonder as the parent company is that we would not be working with their or promoting their truck, right? The food preparation truck. That's obviously in competition with our businesses. However, the Envoy brand, which is no longer the Envoy brand, it is now under the Wonder umbrella. That's why you see the Wonder logo. That is something that our businesses are utilizing to their benefit. So I just want it to be very, very clear. So there is a distinction with a difference. So the Envoy brand, which was originally the app that about 15 of our restaurants are using, was absorbed into its parent company. So there is no more Envoy, but there is the Wonder service. So this is actually a service that our businesses are utilizing. In terms of where the Wonder truck provides services, in working with Alex McDonald, our business administrator, we did enforce let's call it a rule loosely, that the Wonder truck would not be providing services within the commercial districts. Certainly, they wouldn't be pulling up in front of a restaurant and then serving food to a resident that lives above the restaurant. Obviously, that would be a pretty futile effort. So that is the difference here. Obviously, we can't, in terms of the CID, stop them from providing their services. We don't regulate that. If anyone has an issue with it and how Wonder operates, they should take it up with the town, not the CID. But I just want to be very, very clear as to the relationship from the food delivery side versus the food preparation side.
And I do think it's called Delivery by Wonder or something. There is a slightly different name.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen. Yeah, thank you. All right, Mr. Wasserman.
Yeah, thank you. And just to piggyback on the Wonder issue, I will ask Town's Council to update, maybe update the township on Wonders operating in the township. My understanding is that they're operating legally, but I think at the next township meeting, I can have our council address it to the public. It's been asked, and I'll make sure there's a comprehensive answer to it. So just as a response. So in terms of my report, which has to do with signage for the parking deck. Just as a little background, the parking deck was built approximately 8 years ago. And I understand that it was built for approximately $8 million. And it did come with it did originally come with a sign that appeared on the side of the building. But I think in one of the storms, that sign was kind of blown away, or I don't know, if the sign disappeared somehow after a storm. But with that being said, after all this time, we finally are about to put up some comprehensive. Oh, it's up there. Okay, I was gonna hold it up. Anyway, we finally are going to have comprehensive signage around the downtown, and this should alleviate some parking issues for visitors to the township. From what I understand, there's 45 public parking spots in the parking deck. Very few people know about this, and very often hear complaints. Well, I was going, it's going to a restaurant, I was going to a shop, I couldn't find parking, it's a pain in the neck. But there is adequate parking, you just have to know where it is. So hopefully with this comprehensive signage that is about to be put in place, this should alleviate some traffic, and it should alleviate some pressure, to find a spot. Again, 45 spots in the parking deck. It's totally underutilized, and I'm hoping that with some good signage, people that are visiting the town, they will see public parking right this way. And I want to thank the CID for helping with this. Again, this is I don't know if it was 8 years of discussions, but maybe 6 years of discussions about when should we get those signs? When will somebody deal with this? And sure enough, leave it to Steve and our team to do the study to have the meetings, put it in place and to get it done. And that's one of the things I'm very proud of from Explore Millburn. We actually getting some things done. So anyway, so that's my report.
Oh, thank you. That's terrific. Just to be clear, there's electrical chargers too for electric vehicles.
Yes.
As part of those public spots, right?
That's right. There's electric chargers. But the fact is that there's 45 public parking spaces, right in the downtown that nobody knows about. I think that's the point. And now when you come to Millburn, you see public parking right this way, down this block, make a left. I think that's going to be helpful, long term.
Yeah, it's terrific. Do you know what the timing, those were ordered or are they?
Yeah, so this is actually a contract between the vendor and the town. We've been assisting on the design and logistics. But the town, I believe, signed the contract on Friday. And it's going now to development. And so the expectation with supply chain issues as they are is that this will all be installed by about Thanksgiving. Worst case scenario, probably first, second week in December. But everything will go up. Remember, this doesn't just serve the parking deck, it serves 5 different locations. So there's a bunch of signage that doesn't match. We have these sort of green and gold signs for some reason that are around. And so most of those all those will be replaced. So we're actually getting 10 pole signs, 2 pedestrian guidance signs that are going into the art alley to replace 2 older wooden broken ones, and then everything that's going on the parking deck itself. But that should all be done, fingers crossed, by December. They do have to they actually have to put the poles in the concrete. So there's always the weather conditions that relate to that. But I think we'll be there by the end of November.
And the branding will be consistent, and there will be signs for instance, just to fill in some blanks, there will be signs for the Paper Mill Playhouse, for Main Street, just so people will also, have some other better signage.
Great, thank you. Any questions from the board? Very good, thank you. Next up is the Business Administrator's Report, Mr. Melman.
First thing I'm going to touch on is anticipated work schedule. The first thing I'm going to touch on is anticipated work schedule for cleaning of the 5 districts that used to be provided by a contractor in certain areas, time to clean. Between discussions with Public Works and with Steve, DPW is going to go on a rotating basis through various parts of the SID. And so I'll just touch on that schedule from now through the end of December. Budget permitting, it will be on week 1, day 1, downtown west of Main Street. Week 1, day 2, downtown east of Main Street. Week 2, day 1, Upper Millburn Avenue. Week 2, day 2, Morris Turnpike. Week 3, day 1, Wyoming and Short Hill Station. And week 3, day 2, downtown, any areas not covered in the first week. And so this is with funds that we get from the Clean Communities Program for litter abatement and cleaning the streets and stuff like that. We had actually worked with the SID on preparing a scope to get other contractors in, but no one really took us up on the offer. So it was something where we were able to accommodate with Public Works, and we'll evaluate it and see how things look after this goes through. The other thing I wanted to touch on is on November 14th, MKW, which is the landscape architect hired by the township to prepare design for the Taylor Park Gateway project, is going to be presenting the consensus design at the township committee meeting on November 14th. After that meeting, we'll send the designs to the SID and we'll put it up on our website. I just wanted to put it on your radar so that if anyone wants to tune in and see it, they'll be presenting. And that is my report.
Very good, thank you. Any questions from the board?
That meeting is at 7 o'clock, correct, on the 14th?
Yes, I believe so.
Thank you. Thanks. That brings us to the treasurer's report, which is me. Very quickly, out of the posted packet of information, just running through some highlights. As of October 1, our account balance in the bank was $93,778. And you'll notice the special assessment, we've been tracking the receipt from taxes, tax receipts that have come in, and we're right now it's reflecting only $2,340 less than what we had expected. However, I'm informed that we have in fact received some additional tax revenue. So this is like a terrific percentage. We're nearing 100%, I would say. So I'm super excited about that.
Does that address, Steve, does that address the collections? I know there was a question before about collections. I know in the township enjoys a 99% tax collection in general. I mean, are we collecting, all of the SID tax from everyone that's supposed to pay it?
Yeah, I think we're now down to, $500 is owed, and I think some of that is actually just rounding error. So yeah, we're pretty much at 100%.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so that's great. Okay, so I'm glad that's out.
Yeah, no, that was terrific. And then our potential carryover into 2023 is still on track. We're looking at about $11,855 to bring into next year's budget. But that's my report. Everything looks good on the numbers.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Special presentation, Mr. Grillo.
I lost my agenda. How I did that. I know what I did. Okay. Did Jesse talk about clean communities?
Yes.
Oh, you did. Okay, I apologize. All right, I'm gonna go up and stand at the lectern to make everybody's life a little easier. Good evening. So the annual meeting is the ideal time to both reflect on the work done in the year prior, as well as begin discussing our priorities for the next year. Just here at the final slide. We'll work back. This short presentation will serve as a reminder of the operational priorities of the organization, present various ideas for the service portfolio for 2023, and explain how we arrived at the budget that we're going to review in a few minutes. Go to the next slide. So we have the core organizational priorities for Explore broken into 4 categories: streetscaping and placemaking, events, music and marketing, business assistance, and governance. These 4 services are then further divided into over a dozen subcategories, which allow stakeholders to take advantage of different options that suit their specific and diverse needs. These include social media promotion, educational programs, networking, events, and more. I've always been a strong believer in the business philosophy of failing forward. And this is especially important mentality to have in an ever-changing arena of economic development and community planning. If a project or an event can be improved upon or even eliminated, it is the responsibility of the staff to take action in an efficient and direct manner. And we learned some really good lessons this year, and we're going to be making some changes in 2023, including addressing concerns over the Main Street pedestrian mall. Between the live music and the open streets program, the pedestrian mall was a massive success this year. However, the weekly opening and closing in May and June was problematic for traffic, restaurant logistics, and town resources. So in 2023, we plan to have a full closure in July and August only, so when school is out. Furthermore, we're also considering using Town Hall Plaza, which is the small one-way street adjacent to this building, as a secondary venue, and we're working with the town's administrative staff on both long and short-term options for that site. We also plan to revamp Girls' Night Out, which remains a popular holdover from the DMDA. We held the event in 2022, but it was executed on a short timeline with a limited budget and was significantly impacted by rain. We've committed to hosting that event in 2023 with new logistics, and we will leverage years of institutional knowledge from business owner volunteers who will serve on an event committee. We also hosted a number of ribbon cutting ceremonies this year, but given the importance of social media, we believe that we can streamline our operations and better promote new businesses by pivoting to new digital marketing strategies instead of the traditional ribbon cuttings. And finally, we plan to select a new audit firm for a more competitive price, and we'll release an RFP for services in 2023. Moving on to specific service buckets, I'll begin with streetscape and placemaking. So Explore is committed to maintaining and enhancing the pedestrian experience and visual appearance of the town. We oversee numerous beautification services, including tree pit maintenance and managing flower pots and planters, and which we intend to do that continuing into 2023. Additionally, we're going to consider new or expanded projects, including replacing old garbage cans throughout the town. We've already done 20 of them with Jesse's help, and using the existing Big Belly cans for branding. That one's for you, Tracy. Developing an overall streetscape plan for Morris Turnpike, including new planters as well as stone along the sidewalk and new signage, that's Tracy times 2. And implementing phase 2 of our public art program, including murals, vinyl art, sidewalk stamps, and parking kiosk art. And then we're also going to look to upgrade our overall holiday look in the town with new lighting, decorations, and tree wraps. I also plan to work with the township on expanding the parking deck signage program that Richard talked about to all of the parking signs within the 5 districts. Developing and installing welcome and wayfinding signage to include points of interest, sub-district names, etc. Removing the brick sidewalks in downtown and upper Millburn Avenue and replacing them with stones, that's on my wish list. And creating an artistic crosswalk at Town Hall Plaza as part of a public art effort. Moving on to the next slide, with nearly 500 businesses in the CID, actively promoting the overall CID and the specific businesses requires a diverse approach. Given the quantitative results of our recent merchant survey and the qualitative data of day-to-day interactions, we're considering various new activities such as events including a Millburn Restaurant Week, a business sidewalk stroll and sale, a second annual Founding Day event, the aforementioned Girls Night Out, an autumn-themed Fall into Millburn Short Hills event. I'd also like to develop a larger car show, a community-wide jazz festival and art show, a Columbus Day Italian festival with proceeds going to the food pantry, and a salsa night to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. We intend to continue our open streets program and live music in the summer and hope to create new programs such as Summer Street Scenes, very alliterative, which will feature live painters along the sidewalks of the district. Amanda's done a remarkable job in expanding our marketing services, and we plan to implement some new concepts in 2023. These include a townwide gift card program, I should say, a work local, shop local promotion, that was Richard's idea, focus on office workers, and Design a Day, a campaign with resources to plan specifically for themed days in the town. That was Stephen's idea. We plan to begin a podcast series where we interview business owners about their personal stories and create a schedule for weekly business bio posts on social media. We also want to capitalize on the 60+ restaurants in town and secure a promotion in Edible New Jersey magazine and develop themed professional food tours on a regular basis. One of the most common issues mentioned by local businesses is the need for educational programs and access to free resources. We launched 2 educational programs this year, and we intend to continue that work. Some of those opportunities include hosting a small business tax assistance webinar, general business education seminars, a virtual job fair, and continuing to grow the delivery driver database, which Amanda will discuss shortly. We plan to expand our relationship with the Union County Economic Development Corporation and potentially foster an educational partnership with the Millburn Public Library. I also intend to work collaboratively with the businesses to propose policy recommendations to create a more business-friendly climate. This includes potential participation in the town's development review committee, researching and developing solutions to stranded asset properties, advocating for zoning and parking improvements, which we've done quite a bit of already, continuing to promote liquor license reform, and presenting options for a business incubator or accelerator program. And finally, I'll continue my commitment to this board by ensuring good governance for the nonprofit. We will conduct board training and apply to the Main Street New Jersey program and New Jersey Vibrant Places program to provide strategic planning funds and capacity building support. We have pending applications with Essex County to expand our public art initiative and Citizens Bank for a minority, woman, and immigrant business support program. I'm also hoping to be appointed to the Downtown New Jersey Board of Directors, thereby enhancing our status as one of the premier CIDs in the state. Amanda and I believe that this roadmap for 2023 is not only ambitious, but necessary. We are proud of what we've accomplished thus far, and we are committed to creating more innovative services for our stakeholders. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions or move on to the budget presentation itself.
Mr. Wasserman.
Yes, thank you. Steve, that was quite a list.
We have a long year.
Well, I see that was quite a list. And I just want to say formally to thank you for all the hard work that you've been doing on behalf of the township and the businesses. But I do want to throw out one other challenge that I think that we should look at some point in the future. The township has a food pantry. It's kind of it helps, at least from what I understand, about a dozen local families. We come from an affluent town, and people really don't know that there are people that are still struggling in the township. And I think it could be, or it should be part of our mission also to do more in terms of the food pantry. We have businesses that could donate food. We certainly have a wide network of volunteers. And from my end, from what I've seen, from my experience as a council person, it's kind of a group effort in terms of servicing the food pantry. And it would be on, it's kind of on my wish list that this organization, picks up that mantle to help out more. I don't know whether that's something that we could manage or just something that we could help the township with, because it's a great need and it really helps local people. And I think the local businesses, and certainly in the CID, would be proud to do that type of work. And so I say to my colleagues on the board, I just hope that there's maybe that's future meetings, but I think that that's something that we should look into and try to make that part of our umbrella. And so I wanted to.
That's absolutely something, Amanda and I can discuss and figure out how we can integrate that into our services.
And the other thing that you didn't mention that was unsaid was all the phone calls, and it's part of the greater mission, but I think it should be said that with all of that you directly respond, that you directly respond to prospective merchants that are looking at the township that directly affect our vacancy rate. And I think it should be said for the record that, Steve, you're the one on the end of the phone, that picks up the phone when somebody wants to open a business in town. And I think before we had the CID, maybe at some points during the DMDA, maybe that happened. But now we know that when somebody calls Millburn Township and they want a space in our town, that you're on the other end of the phone. And
Yeah,
I
I've
think
had
that
3 of those calls this week alone of people looking for space. So, it's great that the real estate community has bought in and they are sending people my way for clarifications about zoning and other issues. The municipal staff here, whether it's people calling the clerk's office or customer service, they get routed to me. And so I think everybody understands that there's a great central repository for knowledge of where there are available properties. I work with property owners to try to get those spaces filled. So it's a good network of communication.
Right. And the last thing I would just want to say is that it's also unsaid that when there's an emergency, when a hurricane hits the town, that you're on the ground helping the businesses as you did during the hurricane. And I think that that's something that should be said, should be said, that if there's an emergency, we have an organization here that can go into action to help our people. So
Speaking of which, that's an unintended but good segue. La Strada will be opening hopefully on October 21st, so about a week or so from today. Obviously, they had a fire. I was on the ground that morning working with them. The team over there has done a great job of restoring the space. Thankfully, it wasn't a particularly widespread fire in the building. And so they're looking at October 21st for a reopening. So we'll be letting you guys know as that gets more firmed up. All right, any other questions? So I'm going to go to, Jesse can pull up the Excel sheet. Everybody at home will be able to see the budget, everyone in the room. So tonight I am presenting our 2023 budget for final approval. As you will recall, this budget was presented at our September board meeting, and this board had no comments or objections since that introduction. Concerning timing and process, if the budget is approved tonight, I will provide it to the municipal clerk, who will schedule a presentation to and first reading by the township committee at their meeting on November 14th. That is their sole meeting of the month. If approved on first reading, the budget will be advertised by the clerk, and the public will have at least 28 days to review and provide comment. Based on the township committee schedule and the aforementioned requirements, a final reading and vote by the township committee would take place on Tuesday, December 20th. That is obviously their last meeting of the year. Any questions on time? That answers your question. Okay. Starting with the income portion of the budget, there are 4 categories shown. Income line number 1 is the special assessment, which remains unchanged from 2022 and is in the amount of $204,000. For historical context, the final assessment collected for the Downtown Millburn Development Alliance, DMDA, which was disbanded in 2019 and replaced by its current SID, was $206,000 and served only the downtown. The 2023 special assessment will serve all 5 commercial districts, which by my estimate increases the service area by approximately 290 businesses more than the DMDA. In the simplest sense, this budget reflects essentially the same assessment as the DMDA, but provides more services to more businesses in more areas at a lower cost per property. Income line number 2 is the town's contribution towards 50% of my salary as required by the establishment ordinance, which adds another $54,710 to the budget. Income line number 3 is the projected carryover of $12,000 in unspent 2022 funds. This is a conservative estimate based on future spending and potential sponsorships for holiday events. These 3 sources total $270,710 in projected income. Below the total revenue line, there's an additional $15,000 shown via the Clean Communities Grant Program, which we paid directly by the town to various vendors. This is for the 2023 phase of our public art program. Therefore, while services will be overseen and managed by the SID, the individual vendors will invoice the town, and this income is not counted towards our total income. So we never see that money in our budget. Additionally, Explore receives in-kind services which do not cost the organization any money. This includes office and storage space here in Town Hall, printing, internet and phone, and work performed by the Department of Public Works and others to support events and projects. Now, regarding expenses, I will go down the list line by line so everyone can follow along. Concerning staffing, I am proposing an increase of $7,670, which includes a scheduled contractual increase for myself of $2,670 and an additional $5,000 for the marketing staffer and administrative support line. This includes increasing Amanda's hourly rate and gives us options for interns as well. Additionally, I have to take a moment to address Mr. Zurso's comments about my salary. She stated multiple times, including in her memo in the September meeting minutes, that the increase to my salary is, quote, Mr. Grillo awarding himself a raise. This increase is included in my contract that I signed in 2021. I don't know if this is an attempt to deceive the public or malign my professional integrity. Next, the technology section shows a slight increase of $600, which anticipates potential cost increases by vendors. The professional services line also shows a small increase of $325. You will notice that I will be seeking new lower cost vendors for both audit services and board training. Additionally, Mr. Cooper's firm has proposed to provide legal services for the same cost as 2022. Moving on to the next section, I have combined the dues, fees, meals, travel, and office supplies and mailing line in the 2022 budget into a new general operating line, obviously for the sake of clarity. I've also proposed a $20,000 reserve line as with 2022 and 2023. Finally, I'm proposing $67,000 in non-staffing programs and services for 2023. This does not include any additional sponsorships or grants. Sponsorships did represent $17,500 of income in 2022. Starting at the top of those columns, I've combined advertising and marketing with events, music and marketing for a total of $32,000. $14,000 is allocated to business assistance programs, which may include business education seminars and the townwide gift card program. $21,000 is allocated to streetscaping and placemaking, which includes our various existing and future plantings and landscaping, including a significant improvement project for Morris Turnpike. Overall, I believe it's a sensible, responsible, and effective budget to deliver the quality and quantity of services that our stakeholders expect. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Grillo?
No, and just to touch on what you said before, your increase was in your contract that the board approved.
It is, and Ms. Urso mentioned that it comes from marketing tonight. I don't know what that means, but I think I should be the.
No, but that was,
No.
people should know that was publicly disclosed. That's in part of your contract.
Each year, there's a minor increase in the contract, which is
Yeah.
publicly disclosed when
And it's
we
been said
signed
multiple
it.
times and put in the minutes from the previous meeting. I don't think that's fair. That's not true. It's never been true. Ms. Urso should stop saying it because it's not true.
Well, anyway.
Any other questions on the proposed budget from the board?
No questions from me, but I just feel the need to chime in, having known Steve and worked with him for a while now. The only thing I want to add is that I actually think he's grossly underpaid. And if you want to look at that raise, I'm not even kidding. Like, if I couldn't, when we began this process, I thought no one could enjoy this work like as a passion, and Steve clearly does, and that comes through. And I look at the raise that he's getting this year isn't even matching inflation. So if I had all the money in the world, you would be making double. So I think the town is getting an absolute steal. And anybody who thinks otherwise should probably look at more at what you're doing.
Thank you, Andrew. Any other comments or questions from the board? Okay, so this will require a vote, a roll call vote, actually.
Which you may take now.
So do I need a motion to introduce the proposed 2023 budget?
Motion.
And second?
Second.
Thank you. And a roll call, please. Tracy?
I'm just trying to think, Ramana's not here. Tracy Katz Levine, yes. Andrew Morgan,
Yes.
Ashley Schultz,
Yes.
Richard Wasserman,
Yes.
Stephen Weiner.
Yes.
I get
everybody?
everybody? Yes, I did.
Thank you. Motion's passed.
Thank you all.
Good deal. So that moves us to marketing and events report.
Good deal. I like that.
Yes, it is.
Good deal.
That's a good value. And
Okay. Lots to discuss. I'll be as efficient as possible. Jesse, could you bring up our website?
Who made the motion for that?
Okay, so,
And second by Andrew.
yeah,
Thank
you can move that down. So in brief, we've made a lot of additions to the website. Some we've had for a few months now, and others we've done very recently. These are to help the businesses that are already here and the businesses that are coming here. So if you look, we have two business tabs. One is do business. The other one is business support. So under do business, if we start there, if you could just click on that opening soon, just to show people if you haven't seen that. It shows who's coming, then who's just recently started. And then going back up to the menu onto business, if you could click on available properties, Jesse. So this is something we've started to do, is have a directory of all of the commercial spaces that are available in town. We also post these on social media as well. So it's been a nice, something that we can do, that we can get out there. And as Steve said, he's getting calls all the time, so we're
that's great.
seeing something. that's
What's
very
your
unique.
source for that then, as things become available, or are you getting fed from the realtors, or how are you?
Me, walking and driving around
On the beat, right?
on the beat.
Yeah, some
No,
people will
that's-
tell us about it, but Steve's kind of got his finger on the pulse. of
Yeah,
that.
That's
So
terrific.
gets handed to me and then I put that up there. In the next tab over at business support, this is new. What we've done is we've developed a business news section. So when we send e-blasts out that are just targeted towards the businesses and the owners, these are the things that are going to show up here too. And then when we go back up to business support, resources, this is something we are starting to build, but this is, PowerPoints from trainings, the hurricane preparedness, things like that. And then if you can go to business support again, we're hiring.
This is my favorite page.
This has been great. It actually really speaks to what Steve said about having a hiring event next year. We have just been slammed since August with people are hiring, looking constantly. So some people are telling us about them. We've now provided a form people can fill out. Others we just see when we're around town. So these get posted here, and then we have what's pretty much a weekly social post as well, to get the word out. And I think last thing, the business support, if we could just look at that one time. The delivery service directory. So this is actually an idea of Stevens that we're gonna start developing over the next couple weeks. And the premise of it is, there's a lot of places in town that maybe your delivery person doesn't show up, or, you know, COVID, who knows? But you want a quick place to look for other people you could call for help. So that's what this is gonna be, is just a directory of delivery drivers for the local businesses to use. And I think that's it as far as.
Are those the clicks through, like, so for the now hiring, the open jobs, if a user, is there, it went by fast, is there a phone number, or how do they
So,
then?
Now hiring has all the information of how they want to be contacted.
I see.
Some of them want to be DM'd on Instagram, others want to be called, others want to be emailed.
Oh, I see, below there,
Yeah.
okay.
So,
Do
Yeah.
but I
we,
definitely could add a link just to their website too, if they just pushed on the image, that's not a problem.
do we coordinate at all with the high school in terms of like these job postings?
Not at this time on my end. I don't know if you had
We
anything.
have from time to time, I actually worked with the high school last year on creating a job database. It was one of the seniors exit projects. And so they put together, I think there was 30 or 40 students, and then they were looking for jobs, getting them for a short period. And then they had to issue kind of like Yelp reviews of what it was like to work for that group. So it was an interesting project. That young man has since graduated, but I think, you know, the challenge with employment now is high school students, they leave, college students, they leave. It's very, very challenging to find people that are going to be permanently available for more than a season.
We do have, you know, in the high school, we do have students that we do have students that are going to be local. There's not a lot of them, but there are a number of students that are looking for local work. And I just think that might be something to, you know, to coordinate with them, just let them know that, yeah.
We can certainly forward this to
Yeah.
the guidance office and they can
Yeah.
disseminate this
Yeah,
information.
well, also now that there's this
Yes, they-
webpage,
yeah,
that's
they
easy
can
place.
just direct.
Alert them to
Yes,
that.
absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
I just spoke with a colleague that works at Villanova yesterday about student hiring, and within the, I can't think of the name of the office at the colleges, but they have a Resi app or something. So that's another opportunity. We could go to the local colleges as well and get on their list. So.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be really cool, maybe in 24, but we could maybe develop some sort of common application through this website, let somebody fill it out and
Right.
direct it to any of the stores. So
For
they don't have to
interviews,
call and
yeah.
contact each company. They could just submit it and choose the ones they are interested in or something. A little, you know,
That could be
again.
2023.
No,
Yeah.
oh, 23 maybe. I was giving
We
you
don't
more
have it in
time.
the budget.
It's free.
It would just be.
So you
cool
got to give her
'cause
that raise.
you know, it's hard to find good people. So this, you know, a smooth, easy functioning tool like this is
It's
terrific.
great, tremendous, yeah,
Yeah.
tremendous, great.
So yes, so that's we're hiring. I believe that's it for website improvements. So does anyone have any questions before we move on? Okay, so the next one, we didn't put a visual up. I think everyone's familiar enough with the postcard mural that's on the exterior wall of Haagen-Dazs.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with what you're talking about.
So we had a muralist go out and take a look and assess the situation. Michael Cooper, who a lot of you are familiar with. And then he also suggested that he work with a house painter to meet the demands of the project. So we received quotes from both of them, and they have been approved. And work should start, barring any unforeseen events, probably by the end of the month. And it's gonna completely scrape it and prime paint and seal the top white border. And then the areas within the mural that are chipping, those will be highlighted areas that will be repainted, and then it'll be sealed. So then we're gonna know what we're dealing with. And we're definitely, with the murals that we're gonna be putting up moving forward, making sure that every part of the the process is happening, so we don't have to come back and fix anything in the future, barring a
So
natural
they all get
disaster.
sealed. I mean, that's.
And just as a note, this isn't coming from the SID budget. This is coming from the township's budget, as they were the original entity that commissioned the project. We've just been, well, I haven't done anything. You've been facilitating, so you've done a great job.
But it's, I think in speaking, and I'm gonna talk about mural arts, taking care of what's already been put in and installed is gonna be reflective on what we're doing in the future too. So I think it's important to take care of this. It's an iconic mural, and it'll just say more about how we're approaching the future. So we can move on to public art unless anyone else has any questions. Okay, so I believe you've all seen this. I'm just gonna go through a couple quick slides to give you an update on what we're doing this fall. As long as everything comes in alignment and it doesn't get pulled too quick. So if you can just scroll down to the first artist, Jesse. So Michael Cooper, he had put this design on the side of ShopRite. And I have since taken that to him. Michael even made a model. He is really quite something. So it is at the corporate level at this point for approvals. I don't know how long that's gonna take, but they are very excited about it. And if it all happens, the only change that may happen would be they want to put it on the road facing side of the building, not the parking facing side. And Mike will get us numbers for that as well, but it's all within reason. So that, I think, if when this happens, it'll just be a game changer, really. So that's that project. We've been working with artist Liliana Drake on Style and Canine. This was one of her original images, and we've also met with the owner, and he's fine with having something there, but he doesn't want a painted mural. He doesn't want something that permanent. So what we're gonna do there, and we also have the blessing of the owner of Style and Canine, is to do a vinyl banner and have that installed similarly to the Ida banner in the art alley.
Yeah.
So right now the artist is just working on adjusting the art piece now to fit those dimensions, and then we'll be able to move forward. So I see no reason why we won't have that in the next, maybe 4 to 6 weeks. So we're really happy that we can move forward with that, and that's a nice thing to do in Short Hill Station as well. The next one. So I've been working with Lindsay on this. Most likely what we're gonna do is there are exterior floored street decals that you can put down. And we're looking into that because her artwork is always done on the ground. So we want to do something that's respective of that. But she also wanted to see if there's a way we can seal her artwork. So I've been working with the Department of Public Works. We've been experimenting with different sealants and seeing if something could work. If not, we'll defer to the decals. So that's going to happen. It's just a matter of a few more tests and then deciding which direction to take. And then the next one, so with Ann's work, I'm working with the sergeant on the kiosk shelters that are around Reed Pave to Park. And we're just working on the measurements at this point as to what's a safe height for anything to go on the shelter, so it's not blocking people, it's not letting light in, and you're able to be seen. So we want it to be an attribute, but not something that will interfere with lighting or safety. So we're working on that right now, and then I'll come back to you with that, but that should be pretty easy to install as well once everything's confirmed. And I think we've got one more. So what we're doing with Carol's work is we're gonna have window planes and put them in various vacant properties in the windows to add some color. And those properties, we're currently working on determining which ones we'll start with. The nice thing with this is you can move them if and when a place is leased. So it'll almost be like a moving art exhibit around town. So those are the updates for the mural arts program for the fall. Does anyone have any questions?
I just want to make a comment that I personally am very excited, and I sit on a cultural engagement committee. We have incorporated those members as well as the art advisory. Many of the artists that are in this lineup, if you will, are residents. So I think from a engagement, participation, beautification, all of the above. I just think it's so wonderful, and I'm so grateful how it's come together so quickly. And I also want to thank the township, and I want to thank Steve for also reaching out to Essex County and other various resources and sources for funding, which has also enhanced the execution. So I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
I have one quick question. It makes me think about the program we had where kids were coming and decorating windows for the holidays in stores, remember, around town?
Yes.
But I wonder if decorations could be in the form of these window claims, right? We could offer to businesses different holiday artistic related window claims, and you could choose, I don't know if it would who would pay for it, but it's just an idea as a way to further the decoration.
And I also think that elevates the look when you're going in that direction. So if it's not something that we can pull off this year, I think it would definitely be a great idea for next year.
That is a good
That's
idea.
good.
That's one of our benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Great idea.
So
Thanks.
that's the public art. Anybody else have anything? Okay, so small business season. All right. Flyer. I think you all have one in front of you.
Is that this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a few more things to tweak on it, but this is on the website now. I'm gonna be publicly promoting it over the next few days. And so let me just start with the schedule, and then I'll give you a few details. So these are the main events or event weekends that we're having things. The first one being Here for the Holidays Showcase that I think everyone's gotten an e-blast about at this point. A lot more marketing's coming that way. And Here for the Holidays, very quickly, it's a showcase of everything you need to host for the holidays. So whether that's a caterer or a photographer or a florist, even demos of hairstyles, things like that. We're in incredible shape for this event. We have 20 confirmed vendors, 10 that are pending, 1 that's on a wait list, and 2 that are just going to be adding to the swag bag. So we are going to have a full house, and I think it's going to be amazing. We're also going to have a kids zone that One River is going to have art activities for the kids in case parents have to bring them. And it's just to explain, people have to pre-register for it. The first 150 get a swag bag. And it's more of a drop-in during this time frame, try things, walk around, and then leave. It's not, you're gonna be there for 3 hours. We are gonna have a fashion show. And we also are gonna have the a cappella group from the high school performing as well. So that's really shaped up to be a lovely kickoff for the season. The winter walk, this is on here because it's happening in town. We're collaborating with, partnering with the chamber. And in that effort to bring the lighting out into the business districts, not just at Taylor Park. So our contribution this year, we are going to have a gingerbread lane at the art alley, which will be a nice kid, thing, and it's also a lane. It's connecting the two. Again, it's just, so we're really excited about that. And we are working in general with the chamber as well as with the town on getting more lighting and holiday decor out into the rest of the community, not just the downtown area. So I think that's going to be a project that's going to be a phased project, but we're working on it. Small Business Saturday, we're doing, it's just in that afternoon, we're going to have Crazy Kevin, I think a lot of you are familiar with, a wheel of deals, and we're also going to have a DJ going. And then 2 of the bigger events we're having are we're creating winter villages. And Jesse, there should be a picture of an igloo in there. Yeah. So we're gonna have these igloos. They're gonna actually be with the Explore logo color theme in general. And so these are all gonna be set up for people to go and sit and take a break. We're gonna do this one weekend at the Main Street closure. On Main Street, and then the second weekend we're going to do it at Short Hill Station, and we're going to have fire pits, s'mores, hot chocolate coffee, you name it. And we're gonna have first-rate entertainment. So the weekend of the 3rd and 4th, we're gonna have the Manhattan Carolers on that Saturday. We'll have a DJ after that, and then that Sunday we'll have the Jubilation Brass Band. And then at Short Hills Station, we're going to have live ice sculpture carving on that Saturday, and then we will have surprise entertainment for that Sunday. So we're really excited about this. We're gonna be promoting this. I've already secured a lot of advertising for us with family-oriented publications. So I think we're gonna have a lot of new people come to town and other people that didn't take the walk down before. And then finally, we have the Meet Your Favorite Holiday Characters. I don't know if any of you met the Grinch last year, but we're ramping that up too. So we're gonna have the Grinch, we're gonna have Buddy the Elf, Elsa and Olaf from Frozen, and they're gonna be all over the districts during that time. So that's the,
You forgot to say what happens to the igloos after Christmas.
oh,
Don't they melt? Or-
so what we're gonna do, we'll be working on that once this gets promoted, is offering the igloos to restaurants to use as outdoor dining in January and February if they'd like to do that. So we'll put a process together for that, so we'll have.
So we
a
actually
chance.
buy them and so we can do whatever? Is that?
Yeah,
we're-
everything that is gonna be in these, we're gonna own and be able to reuse. I've gotten all outdoor furniture, like, we're using the money as
Wow.
wisely as possible.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah, all
great.
the benches that are gonna be in these are gonna be repurposed in the spring throughout the town to
Is
increase
it
seating.
like a plastic or
Yeah, what
glass?
is-
No,
Or
is
no,
it?
what is?
no,
The
so that's,
dome.
it's a PVC pipe
Oh.
structure,
Okay,
and then it's a plastic. And then, it's a wooden bench, wooden table, and a little water bucket for dogs. And those benches are also gonna end up in the art alley, so parents can sit and watch their
Oh,
kids playing
wonderful.
with the gingerbread area.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's great.
Great.
Quick question on the Millburn's famous winter walk, opening night, starting in the afternoon, 2 to 5, like.
I said the same thing today.
And then, because it's talking about a holiday light show, like I'm wondering what activities during daytime,
They're figuring that out right now. I was on a
Okay.
call last week because that's the tough thing. It's kids, but you
Yeah.
need them to be able to see things. So they're looking at doing some type of carnival and other things. Paper Mill is committed to having entertainment there. I'll ask Heather for an update so I can send it to you all, but that's the timing they're looking at for that day. It may shift, but not too much because it's a Sunday evening.
maybe just call it grand opening or something instead of
Yeah,
opening
I mean,
night.
yeah, I can
don't
call
know.
it
Well,
kickoff.
whatever.
Or I'll confirm with her what she wants to.
The other quick question was like these winter villages, awesome. Do we have like those street banners over like Millburn Avenue? You know how
So Heather and I are working together so that we can co-brand banners for the community for the holidays.
perfect,
So
yeah.
that's on the
Just like that,
agenda.
you know, you put them up. It's great advertising.
Do you know where you're gonna put on those banners?
Not yet.
I'd like home for the holidays.
did we have banners from last year? Do we still have
She
those?
made me throw them out. She said
Oh.
they weren't branded right. I was very sad. I had to throw out my favorite banners.
That'll be great.
But no, the banners that we had, they weren't branded correctly. So we used them for a year and then Amanda's producing new ones.
And can we
Okay.
only put those banners in the downtown? Can they be in the districts? Like, can we move them around?
It's
Or no?
a little tough with some of the polls. I think what we'll try to do is follow how Rocktoberfest did things.
Okay.
But that all has not been,
Worked out, yeah,
Solidified,
yeah,
yeah.
okay,
but everything else I have permission for. I'm applying for all the permits and.
perfect.
Do you want to talk a little bit about Upper Millburn and Morris Turnpike and some of the initial ideas we have for that?
Yeah, so what we were looking at, a couple things. One is doing tree wraps on Morris Turnpike. I'm not sure if you've seen those, but it's like just the trunk area to just bring a nice holiday flair and make it more inviting. And we're also looking at doing like a candy cane wrap as well. So I'm getting some numbers and some other information that we need, and then we're gonna, coordinate with the town to see what makes sense. I've also been working with them to find out how many of the lit snowflakes they have, how many need to be replaced, what direction they want to head in there, and see how we can help with that as well. Does anyone have any questions?
I had two other things. Well, first, thank you for all of this and to both of you for your work. We definitely have the A+ team, that is for sure. Two things. One was the Here for the Holiday event, which sounds wonderful. I think it's really important that we promote it to both like individuals, but also to businesses. Like, it seems like it's a dual audience. Is it meant more for one than the other? Is it more?
No, I mean,
Okay.
what I've learned from our business survey is that the businesses are going after women from about 30 to 49. So that's something I'm constantly trying to take that information and use it.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing when I was securing advertising aimed at that audience. But no, I
Yeah.
mean, businesses can.
I just think it's a tremendous, I mean, we have all of these service, Steve can say how many, we have at least 200 service businesses, all these accountants and medical practices and law firms, like they all are having holiday parties. Like, I actually think there may be an even bigger target for this event than people doing things in their individual homes. So I just want to really encourage trying to really
I
attract
agree.
those
This is a great
populations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great idea.
Really
And,
tap into that.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that could be definitely a targeted part of our outreach. And what I've learned from some of the seminars we posted and the data we've collected is this is a really great community for business to business. B2C, right? Selling to a customer, that's important. But I think in this community, there's an enormous amount of selling between each other, coordinating and cross promoting. And so that's already happening. I think you're absolutely right. We should make that part of our promotion to get those businesses, because you're right. People are having office parties, people that work in
and
offices go to
everyone's
their
getting
homes.
back out to having a lot more. The other thing, just from a branding standpoint, I'm hoping, and I know Jemana's not here tonight, if we can just touch base from a marketing perspective, just on a little bit on the branding piece. One thing I just get looking at it, it does look very Christmassy, and we really do have a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds. So I'd like to see us make it a little more overall holiday and not quite as Christmas heavy. But yeah, I would love to just touch base a little bit offline, but really so many great programs coming up.
And
Very
the
exciting.
goal with
Thank
these
you.
different images, Tracy, is to relate to an event that's happening. So
Yeah.
I can definitely neutralize it, but still make it effective.
Okay, sure.
So
Thank
any
you.
other questions or comments from the board for Amanda?
I have two more things that I forgot. We're gonna be having, I didn't include it in here. We're gonna have a A-frame sandwich board decorating contest for Thanksgiving. And we're going to have a window display contest for December. So that information will be coming out to the businesses first to get them prepared, and then we'll promote that as well.
Great. All right. Thank you very much. It's terrific. A lot of good
Yeah.
work.
She's doing a great
Slow
job.
down.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
go. Mr. Grillo,
Yeah.
Executive Director.
It doesn't feel like the holidays with 200 degrees in this room.
Yes.
So just a couple of quick updates in my report. We do have at least 2 open board seats where we can accept volunteers. So we have the same process as every other board in town. If anyone is a commercial property owner within the district or a commercial tenant within the district and wants to serve on the board, they can go through the town clerk and submit their paperwork. We do not choose our own board members. That's done by the mayor and council. Or mayor and committee, I should say. So we have no authority to make any of those decisions or appointments, but we do encourage folks that are interested. And certainly if someone doesn't get chosen for this board, they can serve on our advisory board, which has 15 members. And we will appoint that group in January. We do have jurisdiction over that. The parking alteration pilot, that is a very stupidly technical term that I came up with. Jesse, would you pull that up, please?
It's the PAP.
It's the PAP, yeah, something like that. So.
All right, well, that's not a good acronym.
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, the whole thing is back. So if folks are familiar with this part of Main Street, this is heading towards Millburn Avenue, coming from Springfield. Taylor Park and All Together Now are on the right. 75 Main is the large office building on the left. This is heading towards Rock and Joe's and Vinny's Pizza. So one of the main issues that we found both in morning and afternoon rush is that the 6 parking spots on the right cause vehicles to not have the ability to make a right turn. So what Alex McDonald and I have been working with, and this will go in relatively soon, is a parking pilot to eliminate those 6 parking spaces for a period of 2 weeks. And we're going to look at the impact that it has on congestion. Our hope is that we will basically double capacity of the roadway. So by sacrificing 6 parking spots, and there are municipal lots around the corner, that people will be able to form 2 lines all the way from Taylor Street or even further back. Because now if you want to make a right turn, you could have 2 lanes, but instead you have to merge into the left lane and then merge back into the right lane. And so one of my concerns, and I've seen throughout my career in bids, is people will avoid commercial districts because of traffic. They don't see the placemaking, the landscaping, the business advertisements, right? They're avoiding that district. We don't want that to happen. We want people to drive into our district instead of circumventing it. So sometime over the next month or so, we will be implementing and studying this. We'll be putting in, we'll just be covering the parking meters, saying no parking, and then there'll be a variable message sign, which is instructing drivers to use the right lane as a traffic lane. And so we'll work with the police department and come up with a final recommendation. But I think there's a number of these other choke points, and so we'll see how it works. No ideas, obviously, since it's an experiment, but this is something that I brought to Alex, and hopefully it does make a difference. And then our 2022 success tracker we present every month. Just want to pick 3 or talk about, we did have our webinar series with Union County EDC, seminar series. We do have another seminar coming up October 27th in this room at 9 a.m. That is social media for small businesses. So that is free and open to all businesses and property owners in the town. If anybody's interested, they just have to email me to reserve a space. 9 a.m. October 27th, social media for small businesses. We did do 3 ribbon cuttings, the Braid Hive, the Bookhouse 2.0, but it's never going to be as good as when you had it. And Just Collect, which is a really cool card collecting store. We posted on our social media today. They have a new promo. They sell historic sports tickets. So you can buy like tickets to the 1953 World Series, stuff like that. So pretty cool store. They're located right next to F45 Fitness. So we're very excited to have them. We also have an event tomorrow night, 6:30 at 321 Millburn Avenue. So that's Springbone and the Braid Hive. The second floor is all office suites. They have 10 new tenants up there that have come in over the last 6 months or so, including Green Door Gallery. We've worked with the folks from Green Door. They've actually did one of our murals in the art alley. She's opening her own gallery space now. And so she has a gallery opening tomorrow night, and then the other business owners will be participating in a network mixer. So Amanda and I will be there at 6:30 tomorrow night, and we encourage you guys to come as well. Second floor at 321. And then I mentioned La Strada, hopefully opening on October 21st. So Jackie will have somewhere to go to lunch. And that is all for me, Mr. Chairman, if you want to hit the potential action items.
Yeah, potential action items. Thank you. First item is to consider renewing Mr. Cooper's law firm, providing legal advice to the SID. And we do, I guess there is an attachment 6 in your packet. Is that the resolution?
That's the proposal.
Oh, that's the proposal. Okay, very good. And like Steve had mentioned earlier, the fixed fee is the same as last year. And I can say for myself, it's been terrific working with Mr. Ryan and his firm. So I am supportive very much of continuing our relationship. But does anyone have any other questions or comments about our hiring of the firm?
Thank you. We've certainly enjoyed working with the board and are excited to have the opportunity to continue to do so.
Very good. Thank you. So
You need a motion or roll call
I do a
vote?
motion. Yep. Do I have a motion to reappoint Cooper LLC?
I make that motion.
Thank you. A second,
Second.
Andrew?
I think that was Andrew.
All right, so roll call vote, please.
Tracy Katz Levine, yes. Andrew Morgan,
Yes.
Ashley Schultz,
Yes.
Richard Wasserman,
Yes.
Stephen Weiner.
Yes. Very good. Thank you. The last meeting, I guess there's been a request to move our previously published meeting date for November from November 17th, move it up about a week to November 10th. This is actually a vote is required unless, does anybody on the board have an issue or concern with November 10? I assume, Steve, the same time, 7:30 or 6:30? 6:30.
I'm sorry, 6:30 is the normal time, yes.
Normal time. So a voice vote is required here if everyone's okay. So everyone who is in support of moving the date to
Do we need a
November 10?
motion or just-
Oh,
We need a motion.
I need a
All right,
motion.
I'll do
Second
the
and a voice vote.
motion. I'll do
Sorry.
the motion.
Okay. Need a
Second.
motion?
Second.
Thank you. Now, voice vote. Sorry about that.
All right.
Everyone in favor of moving the date to November 10?
Aye.
Aye.
All in
Anybody
favor?
opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Double checking,
Okay, thank you.
I will advertise it appropriately.
Thank you. It passes. That brings us to any other final comments or questions among the board members? No? Not, that brings us to adjournment. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.